At the time of this video's upload, Ukraine has been defending against Russia's invasion for 3 years. On the battlefield, this war is fought with weapons, strategy, and resilience. Cities have been devastated, lives have been upended, and the cost of resistance has been immeasurable. But beyond the front lines, another kind of invasion is taking place, one that seeks to reshape identity itself. This battle is waged through symbols, coats of arms, flags, and emblems, tools that have long been used to assert control over occupied territories. Of course, this is not new in the history of wars, nor is it Russia's first attempt at asserting territorial ambitions through the power of symbols. Take, for example, the flag of Russia's Sakhalin Oblast, adopted in 1997. At first glance, it appears to be a simple map representation of the region. However, it was deliberately designed by the oblast's vice governor to include the southern Kuro Islands, territory that was under Japanese administration until the end of World War II, when Soviet forces invaded and took control. Today, Russia continues to administer these islands while Japan maintains its claim to the 4 southernmost ones. These 4 islands fall under the Russian jurisdiction of Yuzhno-Kulisk and Kulisk districts. In 2002, the Russian government approved flags for these districts, further solidifying its claims over the disputed territory. This brings us to an important point. What does approval actually mean? Any local government can design and fly its own flag, but official adoption in Russia comes with a specific process. It means inclusion in the Russian State Heraldic Register, which is maintained by the Heraldic Council, a body that reports directly to the Russian Presidential Executive Office. Every official adoption is assigned a registration number, and since 2003 comes with a colorful certificate. The Council does not unilaterally assign flags to communities, however. Rather, they are a mechanism for approval to which various government bodies can submit their proposals to. To clarify, the Heraldic Council oversees both coats of arms and flags, with a primary focus on coats of arms, often the basis for flag designs. But for the purposes of this video, we'll be focusing on the flags themselves. When Russia invaded Crimea in early 2014, its heraldic system found a new role in occupied Ukrainian territory. Between 2015 and 2022, this system was used to introduce new flags, alter existing ones, and erase Ukrainian symbolism. Some flags were created for places that previously had none. Others underwent minor modifications, such as repositioning or enlarging elements. A consistent pattern emerged otherwise, the deliberate removal of Ukraine's blue and gold colors. This can be seen in the flags of Beloyarsk, Yarka-Bole, and Yana Kaba, where Ukrainian colors were stripped away. In other instances, Russian authorities simply reaffirmed existing designs. However, some changes were more aggressive. The flag of Feodosia, for example, saw the addition of the Russian imperial eagle hovering above the city's fortress, a clear assertion of control. It's important to note that these flags were not independently created by local occupation governments. Instead, their designs frequently came from the same individuals, Russian and Ukrainian heraldists looking to expand their career. One such figure is Vladimir Negaevsky, credited with designing at least a third of Crimea's new flags during this period. A former lieutenant colonel, Negaevsky serves as the executive secretary of the Heraldic Commission of Krasnodar Krai, just across the Kerch Strait from Crimea. He is a prolific designer, having created nearly 100 coats of arms and flags for Krasnodar Krai. Another key figure is Oleg Moscovich, head of the Commission on Heraldry of the Crimean Heraldry Society. Before the invasion, Moscovich designed several flags for the Ukrainian government. After 2014, he collaborated with Russian authorities, modifying his own designs to align with Russian heraldic conventions rather than Ukrainian ones. These patterns reveal that the flag changes in Crimea were not organic local developments. Responding to an email inquiry, the Ukrainian Heraldry Society confirmed that this is a deliberate process noting the systematic inclusion of occupation-era symbols in the Russian state heraldic register. This demonstrates how some Russian heraldists and local occupation administrations work together to formalize these changes, using official heraldic approval as a tool in the occupation force's struggle for legitimacy. Following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, this system of symbolic replacement intensified. The first recorded flag change in territories occupied after the invasion occurred in October 2023, approximately 21 months after Russian forces captured the area around Chernihiv. At that point, Russian authorities reorganized it into a municipal district and introduced a new flag, completely unrelated to the region's previous Ukrainian flag. Again, these changes continued in an inconsistent manner. Some locations saw only minor modifications, while others had entirely new flags imposed on them. However, the pattern of removing Ukrainian national colors remained clear. This was evident in Bilmak in the Zaporizhia Oblast, as well as in the Donetsk Oblast, where the flags of Makiivka, Chistyakove, Boykivska, and Kharkiv were redesigned to eliminate traces of blue and gold. Behind these widespread changes stands a central figure, Yuri Rosich. He is credited in 72 out of the 79 flag alterations tracked since the 2022 invasion, more than 90% of them. Rosich's official credentials offer only a glimpse of his influence. He holds a Candidate of Geographical Sciences degree and is a member of the Heraldic Council under the administration of the Pskov region. However, his reach in the heraldic world extends far beyond that. He is the editor-in-chief of Gierandica.ru, a heraldry database established in 2001. He also operates several commercial clip art websites, vectorcliparts.com, cliparto.com, and vectorimages.com, which sell digital assets to customers worldwide. These websites list U.S. addresses that trace back to forwarding warehouses in Sarasota and Bradenton, Florida. But most significantly, Rosich founded the Eurasian Armorial Center, or EAAC, a nonprofit organization registered in Russia in July 2022, just 5 months after the invasion. The EAAC describes its mission on its website as working in the territory of the Russian Federation and other countries of the Eurasian Economic Union for the sake of promoting the development of heraldry, as well as maintaining and preserving its traditions. In practice, Rosich and the EAAC took control of previously uncoordinated efforts by Russian nationalists to redesign flags in occupied territories the same year the full-scale invasion began. Through Gierandica.ru, they offer a streamlined and free service, helping municipalities develop flags using grant funding. While some of their designs draw from historical symbols or modified versions of existing flags, the EAAC also takes input from collaborationist authorities. In some cases, local occupation governments may even be misled into believing that adopting an official coat of arms and flag is a legal requirement, when in reality it is not. The real driving force behind these changes appears to be ambitious heraldists like Rosich and the EAAC, who use the process to expand their influence rather than any strong directive from the Russian government at the federal or regional level. Once these designs are submitted to the Heraldic Council, they have already passed basic quality control. The Council then approves them with little to no scrutiny, adding them to the State Heraldic Register, a process that effectively gives them official status. This streamlined process allows figures like Rosich to push through numerous changes, shaping the heraldic landscape of occupied territories with minimal oversight or resistance. While inclusion in the register does not necessarily mean the flag will be widely used in reality, many of the municipalities established by Russian forces are based on the administrative districts that existed under Ukrainian governance. Because these municipalities usually contain at least one town, they often have some funding to produce a limited number of flags for display in administrative offices or government buildings. Ukraine's response to these imposed flag changes has been limited, mostly because the country's priority is the ongoing war effort. According to the Ukrainian Heraldry Society, while they actively document and research the evolution of Ukrainian municipal symbols, they do not track Russian-imposed changes in occupied territories. Their focus remains on preserving and promoting Ukrainian heraldry rather than engaging with the occupiers' attempts to rewrite local identities. In this sense, the symbolic battle over flags remains secondary to the real and immediate fight for Ukraine's sovereignty. By now, you may have noticed that some of the most well-known flags of Russian-occupied territories, those of the Oblast of Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Zaporizhia, and Kharkiv, have not been mentioned. That is because, for one reason or another, they are not included in the state heraldic register. The exact reasons are unclear, but we can speculate. The flags of the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics were approved by their respective separatist governments. However, their designs have undergone multiple revisions over the years, suggesting uncertainty or lack of a priority for official adoption. The symbols used for the Zaporizhia Oblast may be ineligible for registration, as the Oblast coat of arms was copied directly from the city of Zaporizhia itself. Meanwhile, the flag for Kherson Oblast violates Russian heraldic rules. According to these rules, crowns on coats of arms must follow a strict hierarchy, with grander crowns reserved for larger administrative divisions. However, the Kherson flag features the imperial crown of Russia, which would be inappropriate under any circumstance. The same situation appears to apply to Sevastopol, the largest city in Crimea, occupied by Russia since 2014, where a proposed flag was actually rejected by the Heraldic Council in 2018 because of its violation of heraldry rules. For example, the rule of tincture, which prohibits gold on silver. As for Kharkiv Oblast, its Russian occupation flag appears to have been lifted from Reddit. The design was originally created by a pro-Russian Reddit user whose account now appears to be suspended. While flags may seem like small details in the larger conflict, they are powerful tools of control. The story of flags in occupied Ukraine is more than just a matter of symbols. It is a deliberate effort to erase and replace Ukrainian identity, using the power of visual language to reshape perceptions of history, governance, and legitimacy. If you found this video insightful, consider subscribing to the channel for more content on Vexillology. You can also visit flagchronicle.com for in-depth articles and updates on flag-related developments worldwide. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.